Hey folks, Dr. Mike here with IFBB Pro, Jared Feather, my training partner, my friend, and we're going to ask him a couple questions about his journey to the pros. It's a big deal getting an IFBB Pro card. So, Jared, how old are you and how long have you been training?
27 years old. I'll be 28 in February. I've been training for 12 years-ish.
12 years.
Yeah.
And how much do you weigh right now in this video?
Oh, God. Don't want to say it because I was 205 on stage. 222 this morning.
222.
Yeah.
So that's all solid rebounds.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. When did you first decide you wanted to be an IFBB Pro?
Somewhere along high school when I began training, and I was actually there was this KHQA newscaster that covered all the football games, and he kept comparing me. I guess he was a fan of bodybuilding. He kept comparing me to Jay Cutler, and I was thinking Jay Cutler, the quarterback for the Bears at the time.
That would have been a better football compliment.
Yeah, football compliment. But he was like saying he has calves like Jay Cutler and this and that, and I was like, I look at his pictures of Jay Cutler, and I'm like, what the fuck? What? And then I was like, I looked up Jay Cutler, the bodybuilder. And I remember seeing him on a magazine because I worked for Pepsi and I was stocking shelves for Pepsi at the time as a job. And I was like, oh, wow, what a compliment. And I remember looking at his physique and I was just, this is crazy. This is the biggest man I've ever seen in my life. And it was just, a lot. I would read the muscle magazines when I was supposed to be stocking shelves at the store. And I remember thinking, these guys are too big, a little weird. I don't think I ever want to be that big, but I definitely want to be pretty big. So somewhere between then and midway through my natural journey of bodybuilding, when I was winning shows, I was like winning these natural bodybuilding shows. I won the first show I ever did. And I was like, maybe this is a thing I can do, because I had already, told myself I'm done with athletics. I didn't want severe injuries. I didn't want concussions. I wanted to use my intellect to drive me forward, and I didn't want to rely on my physical attributes and things like that. But bodybuilding was like, low impact lifestyle, really good. And I was already doing the whole bodybuilding lifestyle thing anyway, just without competing.
Eating and training and
enjoying the process and learning lessons from the gym, like, being very driven and motivated and determined and all that. And I was winning these shows, and I thought, man, I really think I have a thing here, and I can compete again, and it's going to drive me even more. So I won that show, and I saw how kind of just proud my mom was, because she wanted to compete when she was younger, before she got a tumor and everything. And she just had to quit physical activity altogether. And it was really cool, and we kind of connected on it. And I wanted to be a pro. I wanted to be a natural pro. And even before I was a natural pro, I knew I wanted to be at the top of the IFBB.
Now, was the IFBB Pro goal at that point for you more of a pipe dream of like, well, maybe that'd be cool? Or was it like, no, it's happening. It's just a matter of time and execution?
I think as I progressed, maybe somewhere around the time where I met you, and I really started moving forward with the natural bodybuilding, pursuing the pro card, and not just doing competitions to do them. I began to kind of realize my genetics. Not that I hadn't noticed they were pretty good before, but I was like, I'm very objective about this whole thing. If I knew that I had bad genetics and I knew what it would take to get to the IFBB Pro level, and it was something I wasn't willing to put my health through, I probably just would have stuck with, like natural bodybuilding. Let's keep pushing fitness. Let's keep getting smarter, yada, yada, yada. So I'm getting to do all that. But also I was like, we're training really hard in the gym, and I'm learning all these concepts under Dr. Mike Israetel, and it's really neat. And I'm seeing a lot of progress, and it's really cool. And one thing that I want to do is drive that forward in the IFBB and kind of bring the education side over, eventually getting the PhD. And this is the same thing, you want to do, Master's IFBB Pro card and PhD.
See, mine's just a pipe dream. Yours was realistic.
I don't know, man. It's just realistic too.
Did it feel like a pipe dream at some point? You were like, wow, am I really trying to do this?
In the beginning stages, maybe. And I think I just had a lot of really, really good friends around, and people who were like kind of affirming that it wasn't in my head, that I kind of had, because there's a genetic component to it all. There's like, Jared, you have been the most dedicated person I know for so long, and you have these great genetics, and I think that you could really go far. And I was like, I think that's true. I think I really could. But, in the beginning stages, you always doubt yourself. And
sure.
There's some level of that no matter what. So I think I knew I could all the way until maybe that first competition.
That's my next question. How have your prior attempts to this last one at a IFBB Pro card gone? And what stumbling blocks did you do?
All the way up until that first competition that I did when I started competing in the NPC. Just trying to peak the way I used to peak and maybe not even getting lean enough. Don't even know. I saw myself as this Instagram bodybuilder after that point. I was just like, I'm going to be the guy who people see on social media and they think he looks really good, but he's not a bodybuilder. He's like an Instagram bodybuilder.
Sure.
And it kind of haunted me for the last year and a half when I was massing. And I knew that I could continue pushing forward in the gym and doing what I need to do, being consistent. It's just the day-to-day stuff that we already do anyway. But the second prep starts, it becomes this, but am I going to look like how I should at the end?
And why didn't you in your first couple of shows? I mean, you did the Arnold, you did another show. Yeah,
I mean, I'm not going to say I wasn't lean, but it was probably some combination of not getting lean enough. I had glute striations and stuff, which was the first time I ever had. But still, you could see there was some fat loss. But then there were some things that you had to toy with on the supplement side of things and water and peaking and all that. And I think it just really messed the peak up.
Body water manipulation.
Body water manipulation was wildly off. And it's something that we're learning about, with the help of Broderick Chavez and you and me, just kind of putting all our brain power together and figuring this whole thing out. And it's been taking us, I'm not going to lie, it felt like it was taking a while. And now you look back and I've only been competing in the NPC for 2 years. This is my third try at getting, because I guess you can count the Arnold Classic as a try at getting a pro card because you can get one there.
Sure.
And then I did the USAs and then this national show. This is only my third try and we've kind of figured a lot of things out.
Sure.
And we're continuing to be students of the game and figuring more and more out. And so I definitely think that's part of why it wasn't successful.
For sure.
And I felt that way about just being an Instagram bodybuilder.
Right. And then so when did you decide you were going to be doing nationals and what was your body composition and weight then? What led you to decide that you were like, all right, this is it. 2020 nationals is what I'm doing.
Wow. We massed really well and I was liking the way that I was looking. We moved out to Vegas and, we did about 2 or 3 mesocycles out here, full on massing and just the progress we were seeing.
You were massing, I was cutting.
You were cutting. And I saw you going through the process and I thought, 230 nationals is 10 weeks away. I could do it. I could start right now, and I think I could make it. And I think that'll be really good for us to kind of go through that together because you've been prepping for so long.
Sure.
And
it's easier when your roommates also
100%
eat out.
100%. It was like, let's get on this similar schedule. Let's get super fucking lean together. Let's do a bunch of promotional videos, and it's not only going to be good for that desire we have because there is this desire that we have, no matter how objective and scientific we are, there's something in us that we want this. This is the goal that we want.
Sure.
We want to be these professional bodybuilders, and it's going to be something that's like, it means something to us.
Sure.
And I thought, it'd be really fucking cool to go through that together.
Yeah. 10 weeks is pretty rushed prep though.
10 weeks is you could say rushed. You could say the variables were all checked properly.
So I
lost no muscle.
So you had your clear abs when you started.
Right. So I thought it was probably 12 to 15%. Pretty good place to start any prep. A natural bodybuilding prep at 12 to 15% should take 16 to 20 weeks. A prep at 12 to 15% not natural it could take anywhere from 8 to 12 weeks.
Sure, and it did.
And it was really cool because we just figured it out. We've played with the variable. We talked about it for a week before I decided this is it. Let's stamp it. And that's the cool thing. Like I said, I'm self-coached. I'm objective as hell with myself. I know when I'm getting emotional and it's time to put that thought over here and wait until I'm not. But when you have you and Broderick and we're all bouncing ideas off of each other and I'm like, listen, this is what I think. Am I wrong? You're like, I think this is probably a little better. And I can be like, oh, okay, you're right. And we talked about it for a week and then we both finalized some details and it was like, let's just do this, man. I think it's a good idea, not only for, trying to get it this year, but also just for like business and everything else.
Sure. What were your macros on average through this prep for pro? And what did your lifting look like? And how much cardio were you doing? Just a real rough Because people are going to want to know.
Sure, yeah, an average. I mean, toward the end, I was hitting anywhere from like probably 225 grams of carbs a day. And then in the beginning stages, which was the majority of the prep, 400 grams carbs, 375 grams carbs. So, anywhere in the 300, 350 range.
Average.
Yeah, it was...
and then fats are like 40?
40 grams. Trace fats until the end of the day, and I gave myself a full serving of fat of peanut butter. I kept peanut butter in the entire prep and never had cravings, anything like that.
How much protein?
And then just like body weight protein.
Just 225?
Just 225. And it was almost the entire time. When I went to 200 grams of carbs, I potentially raised it a little bit just to prerequisitely mitigate some of those craving type of things that happen when you don't have higher protein.
Sure.
So maybe a little bit higher.
And what about cardio?
Cardio, I honestly, we've been doing this thing where we do activity and steps, and I probably averaged, this is going to be so much lower than yours, 8K maybe a day until the end.
Steps.
Yeah, steps. Because, we sit on our ass. We go to the gym twice a day. We sit on our ass and we work a whole bunch.
Yeah.
And you would walk around and do podcasts. I would sit on my ass still.
Right.
So I would just go to the gym for 30 minutes to an hour at the end of the day. Just if I felt I had a lower activity that day, I was like, I'll just go a little longer today.
Okay.
So it wasn't really much. It was just enough that I could hit my average step intake, or whatever, output. So yeah, it wasn't terrible
so
at
about
all.
8,000, 9,000 average?
Yeah.
That's cool. All right. When during prep did you really start to feel like you looked like a contender? Like, we all have that moment during prep where you're like, oh shit, I look like a bodybuilder. When did that happen for you?
Yeah. Probably 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out. I did a warm-up show, the Steve Carr Classic in Vegas, and made some modifications around 2 weeks from that show. And within a week of those modifications, things just started happening, and probably lost a total of 6 pounds that week.
Yeah, a lot of body water.
A lot of body water that was being stored sub-Q. And I looked at myself and I was like, this might be interesting.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I had in the back of my head was the peaking stuff.
Sure.
But we had talked about it so much that it was almost a sure thing. It was just doing it. And that's why we decided to sign up for the Steve Carr show.
Sure.
Like 2 weeks out or whatever it was.
Sure.
It's like, I got to practice this peak before nationals, because if it works, it fucking works.
Sure.
And we're going to do this shit at nationals.
And it worked.
And it worked.
So after the Steve Carr, you were kind of certain. You're like, okay, I can bring this again.
At the Steve Carr, I was 100% certain that I could come to nationals, my best ever, peak like perfectly, and show up and do whatever I could against whoever else showed up.
Sure, because then the judges decide.
Exactly. It's just about me being the best shaped, most muscular, best posing guy there. And, I tried to check all the posing box and, peaking box and all that stuff. And I did what I could, and it was enough.
It was enough.
It was enough.
What was your peak like for nationals? I mean, you had to make a weight, which is pretty unusual in bodybuilding. Most of the time you just show up at whatever. Yeah. So you had kind of 2 goals. One was to fill out and get dry, but the prior prerequisite literally goal was to come in under 205 pounds.
Right.
How did you handle that?
I thought I could do it just with a simple diuretic response from higher water intake, higher sodium intake with a pretty swift drop. But that's before weigh-ins. And then after that, there's some body water stuff of recompartmentalization that you're not sure about. So it was best for me to just keep the water lower. And I knew that since the Steve Carr Classic. Maybe like eating some drier carbs here and there, trying to keep it above at that average intake of 200 grams or so. So my diet was still the same mostly. It was just the higher water and higher sodium that led to some diuresis. So I was probably I was going to bed at like 2:16 and waking up at like 2:08 on average that week with how much I was peeing through the night. I was waking up at 3-4 times. And I went to bed at 2:15 that night, and I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to wake up at 2:05. Mm-hmm. So I woke up, didn't even have a scale, went over 2:06. So I was like, son of a bitch. I had to walk to my car. And at this point, this is probably what you want out of me. The water shit is the hardest thing for me.
My next question was, how did you feel physically during the peak? And the one after is, how did you feel mentally?
Everything about prep is completely easy to me. It gives my life more structure. I work more. The only thing that sucks is cardio. And even this time I learned to enjoy it because I've never watched Dragon Ball Z fully. I know. And I started
working on it.
I started to watch it, and I was just 2 or 3 episodes per cardio session. It was really cool. I love the fucking show. It's awesome. And so that was easy. But dehydration to me, man, it's just it's so shitty. And I get brain fog. I get everything from it that most people talk about with diet. And I had to walk back to my car to sauna off, like car sauna in this rental car that I got. Sauna off.
Those poor next customers.
Yeah, for real. I mostly sweated my clothes, I think. Yeah, whatever. And I was sitting there for 15, 20 minutes, and I knew I'd sweat about a pound. But at one point, I was just sitting in there still just for the simple fact that I didn't want to move my hand and grab the car door.
Momentum. And
push it open.
Yeah.
That was just like, it was awful. I grabbed this water bottle from the middle console that I had. It only had this much water in it. And I began to walk back to weigh-ins, and I stopped probably 3 or 4 times and opened the bottle of water, not out of habit, out of the fact that I didn't give a shit. Like, people say, like, I'll do anything right now. I'll eat dog shit if I have to. No. We all have these thoughts. We all have thoughts like that. I was literally on my way to weigh in, knowing that I was under 205 and going to do classic. And I thought, I can just do heavyweight. I can't do this. But I somehow got there, and I was 204.8. And I got to finally go back, eat a bunch of carbs, keep water really low, keep sodium really low, and just wake up drier and drier each day. It was like a 2-day before the event weigh-in, so I didn't even use both days really to carb up. I did the high end average, or the high end of what my prep was, 400 the day before Thursday, which was the weigh-ins, and then I did a huge carb day on Friday with super low water, and just woke up looking exactly how I had expected because of the Steve Carr peak. Mm-hmm. So it was a process. The peak week itself was fucking tough. It was brutal.
When you say huge carb, how many carbs on Friday?
I was like 1,100, just 1,200.
Okay.
Yeah.
Describe the events of the win for us. Like the first time you get called on stage in a comparison in your group, then the top 6, then the announcement, so on and so forth.
Okay.
How'd that all go, and how'd you feel about it?
So the first thing that happens is you walk out on stage. And the classes are so big, you just walk out with 5 people, 5 in order of numbers. So like I had 309, the next guy, let's pretend he's 310, 11, 12, and up to 15. And we all 5 stand there. We go off stage, next 5 come in, next 5 come in. There were 19 or 20 guys in my class, so that happened 4 times. And then they bring us all on stage, and they just got to look at us. And, then we do our individuals after that. Mm-hmm. So all 19 guys come out, and they do 15 seconds of hitting their best shots so the judges can see them by themselves. So I knew what I had to hit there, and I was working on posing a lot with Mike from San Antonio, mm-hmm. and did that, went off, and go back because I'm the first guy to do that, so I have to wait 15 seconds times 18 or whatever. So I'm still just like, okay, I should probably do a little bit of pumping in case I'm top 5. So I pumped up, and then they were like, brought everyone back on stage, and that's when they call numbers. And they called my number first. And honestly, the excitement at that point was like, whoa, mm-hmm. I can't believe this.
Because they put you center stage.
They put me center stage immediately. And I was like, okay. But I've had really poor experiences with that. Mm-hmm. So I was like, this is what's going to happen. We're going to do a bunch of back double biceps. They're going to move me to the end. I'm going to get 4th or 5th. That's what I was thinking the whole time. And, every time they called a number, I was just holding my breath. They were like, this number, trade with. And I was just like, fuck, come on. And they never said my number once. They were just moving people around me to get 2nd and 3rd. And
they never moved you.
Never moved me.
Which is a really good sign, by the way.
Really good sign. And then I found out that there were 6 guys in my first call out. And I was like, fuck. Because that could be anywhere from 1st to 3rd. And, all the guys when we got off were like congratulating me and like, dude, you did it. Like, congratulations. And just with the way that I was looking at myself backstage versus looking at everyone else, like I was looking at myself in these really elongated mirrors, and I was like, why do I look so shitty? And I think I blew it, and the peak is like, I'm getting watery. But I wasn't really, I maybe sipped a little water and ate a couple things before I got on stage just so I could get a pump. And I thought I was fading because the timing at bodybuilding shows sucks. So, you eat something a little too soon, and you start to get in your head, and nobody was really back there with us. I wasn't going to make anyone buy a coaching pass for $250. So I was back there laying on. I was just like, I've done what I can. So I just laid back down, put my headphones on, and then went out. But yeah, whenever we got off stage, they're all congratulating me, and I had a lot of excitement at that point. I was on the verge of tears even at that point. I was, this is insane. I can't believe that I did this. And but then you think about it more through the day, and like, it could be third, could be second, who knows?
Sure.
So I just and they'll recompare sometimes at the night show. So really, it was just about, I'm going to eat a meal, I'm going to maintain this look, I'm not going to do anything crazy with water or sodium. I'm just going to keep this look that I have right now, and that's what I did. Came back out, and we did our routines. They did top 5, and they called me as an IFBB Pro after. So like third place was called, and I knew I was a pro.
Yeah, because top 2 get
pros at the national show, and even then I was kind of just like, if I get second, I'm not gonna feel like a winner.
Sure,
I'm not gonna feel like a pro. And before they even called the second, the guy who got second, his name is Rohan. He's really cool. We've known each other for like 2 years. Competed together at the Arnold. Before they even called his name, he like started walking out, like, because he was the guy who was hyping me up the most. He's like, "No, dude, you got it. Like, you literally just won." He's like, "I looked at pictures. You blew us out of the water." And I just like tried to do, like, I was like, "No, you look crazy next to me. Like, look at this and that."
He looked really good.
He looked insane. I was just like, but he starts walking and they call his name, and I'm standing there first, and I was like, "Oh my God, it did it."
Yeah.
Like, it was really cool.
Everyone afterwards came up to you, talked to you. How did that feel? It lasted like an hour and a half.
It did.
You had your giant pro card with you, your trophy.
Yeah. It was neat. You even have the competitors before I had to do the overall. So they had to take everything away and then do the overall. And then I was a little bummed because I didn't win the overall. So I had to like stay in the backstage area for a couple minutes, digest. And I'll remind myself that, I did it. And come walking back, and even the competitors, because you make friends with some of these people, and a lot of them, even people that, even like the bikini girls, they're like, it's becoming a pro is such a big deal that everyone's just like, congratulations. Mm-hmm. And everyone back there is just like, because they're all waiting to know if they are too. Mm-hmm. They're all like, they're waiting, like, and they almost like, it feels like they feel that sense of like accomplishment with you, and they're all just like, congratulations, and shaking your hand like, oh God, I can't wait and to go out, and you talk to them, and it's really neat. But I'm in the back of my head, I'm just like trying to get out to my friends who are all there, and I'm always trying to please people, please. Sure. So I was trying to take it all in and let it sit with me. But it was neat just walking from backstage to go out and grab my stuff, and it was taking 20 minutes a person to like talk things through, and then I get out, and my friend Mike and Ashley won her IFBB Pro card there too in figure. She won the overall in figure. They're standing there, and he gives me a hug, and then I just like fucking lost it. And I probably cried, 5-6 more times that day. So,
good day.
It was cool. It was really cool. Got a lot of pictures, and I tried to get pictures with Mike and my little brother because he was there. Flew him out so he could come watch, and it was neat. It was a fun experience.
Yeah. Now that you've had about a week to process it, or just over a week, what do you think about, how do you feel about being a pro? It's because it's a title so few people ever hold. Yeah. Most people who begin bodybuilding will never turn pro.
Yeah. I have to remind myself of that. I just made a post. I think in there, I talked about what it feels like currently and kind of how I'm still trying to be proud of myself because I never have balanced. I can stop and enjoy the process no matter what. And I'm very proud of myself for doing that. Enjoying the process and actually finally living in the moment a little bit and enjoying the day-to-day that's going on. But enjoying the accomplishment it's something that I have a difficult time with. It's hard for me to be proud of myself for it. But I'm getting better. I'm still working on other goals, and I'm realizing what this means for not only myself, but science and progress in actually doing what we've talked about this whole time.
Sure, and that's the
next I want to turn pro.
What are you going to bring to the pro ranks as far as intellectual contribution?
Yeah, that's it. I want to make sure that we can continue bringing sports science into bodybuilding, and people can be safer. They can make better progress, and all this nuance and stuff that we debate all the time. they're going to see those things too. And like where one person here is right and we're wrong, they're going to see that and they're going to be able to make their own decisions. They're going to be more rational and logical about the training and their dieting. And I can then, talk about those things, and I can talk about my route of becoming an IFBB Pro from an IPE Pro, so a natural pro to a not natural pro. And hopefully that can help some people too. Because there are a lot of kids who immediately they start training, don't ever learn to enjoy the process, and they get told by some guru old man at the gym, hey, here's this steroid, take this. And I can tell them, listen, I can just kind of pass that message along. Sure. You should probably wait. Yeah. You should learn to love shit first, and then maybe you can make that decision if you so wish in the future.
Sure, if you're so informed about it.
Yeah, being informed.
Last question: what are your plans for the next block, the next year, and then the future of your career?
Oh boy. Well, I wanted to compete in the Battle of Texas show, which was 2 weeks after the show. I was just gonna make my pro debut immediately. And I got a little quad strain or something going on. I didn't want to train through that and push through something that could potentially lead to a career injury. I have to work around for the rest of my freaking life. So I paused that. But I honestly think that I could have been 10 pounds heavier on stage and lean. And
because you depleted like crazy just to make weight.
For sure. So I'm just going to do the same shit next prep, but hopefully with 10 more pounds of muscle. So I'm going to mass up for the next 4 to 6 months and prep for a show that can hopefully qualify me for the Olympia. I want to do the Olympia as a classic physique guy one time at least, and then move to the Open. And that's going to be another 2-year layoff, 3-year layoff before I move to the Open. But I want to do the Olympia next year, and I think that I can. Sure. And I think that I have a different look that most people in classic physique don't have, and it could be rewarded in the pros. Sure. I just got to build some tissue first.
But classic is a stopover for you.
100%.
You want to be an open class
Absolutely.
guy. Why?
I think that's where my structure fits. That's what
you just have bigger skeleton,
right? To
look filled out, you'd have
right.
To be.
I would have to be like my back. Whereas I was talking about my back shots earlier. I've always lost with them. I think I won the show from the back, which is insane.
Sure, but it can be bigger.
And I can see those things, even though I won. To fill my back out, I'm just a more broad person, taller person, 5'10 and a half, 5'11. It's gonna take a lot, and I want to see what I can look like there. And ever since looking at Jay Cutler on that magazine and always thinking back to it and being compared to that, it's like, what if?
Sure.
What if I can? And I definitely think that's where I fit. And with that comes a lot more things that are potentially detrimental to my health. And that means that I get to see what I need to do in order to keep my health in check, what I need to do on a very minimalist level, because I'm not going to do what the other guys do. It's going to be very, very, like we always talk about it. Even now, it's like this compared to this.
As far as supplement use.
Yeah, other guys are this, and we're as smart as possible about it. And keeping health in check. And it's like, I'm going to get there doing this instead of this. And I want to be able to help other people do the same thing.
Sure.
And if I stay in classic, I did the thing, but I don't know what that's like on a larger scale. And I need to know what that's like if I'm going to help people through it.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, folks, there's your long interview about what it means to become a pro.
For both.
That's good. That's what the people on YouTube pay for. Technically, they don't pay. Jared, thank you so much for sitting down. Folks, thanks so much for tuning in. More good stuff coming. And if Jared continues to be not too elitist because now he's an IFBB Pro, maybe he'll join us for more workouts and videos. So we'll see him later, and we'll see you guys too. Peace.